So, hi everyone. I would like first to say thank you for joining us on this session about how to launch from voice with the Sales and Marketing Toolkit. So I will be presenting some basics on the marketing versus sales aspect of it. And then we have Daisy, who's our marketing manager for From Voice, who not only handles our marketing, but as well the toolkit, who will present a bit more in detail what we have available for you. So let's start with a little brief about Prompt Voice. So why do we take this approach? Well, it's very simple. In the 90s, when our sister company Premier CX was founded, some of you might remember that for a lot of the phone system, what was happening was that there was a beep when you were put on hold. And someone at the time realized that if we can play a beep, we can play some music. When we say that there's been no evolution since the 90s, no meaningful one, most of what has evolved is the delivery method for the music, passing from a tape to a disc to now a digital file. But the system itself hasn't changed very much. The business model has not changed all that much, and we're still talking mostly about music. Whereas if you look at any other part of the telecom or IT world, there's been tremendous evolutions. And this is why Prompt Voice was an opportunity to reinvent everything from the business model to the delivery to what is happening, to go from the music to the marketing on hold. So a couple of things about this. It meant that we could go entirely partner focused and have a platform that is only for the channel. So your clients right now are probably purchasing some sort of music service, and well, quite frankly, they're purchasing it from someone else to work on a phone system that you sold them, you installed, and probably you are maintaining. So this is a good opportunity for you to get that additional margin, and some of your clients are already ready to go with this solution. So we talk a lot about marketing. We talk more about marketing than sales, to be honest. And this here is the reason. So you will see numbered here the buyer's journey, which we've taken from the HubSpot consultancy model. And you will see that the buyer goes through several phases before they purchase. The first one is the awareness stage, in which they are going to realize that they have some issues. And at this point, it might be very general. It's not going to be, in our case, about the music simply. It could be about why their calls are dropping, why people are contacting them via email, just identifying what the issue is. Then in the consideration phase, they start looking really on how to solve this issue, but they're not looking at vendors specifically. Now, these are two stages where you really want a marketing approach to it, because you do not want your salespeople to be making a lot of cold calls and talking to people that are quite simply not ready to buy, regardless of how well the conversation is going between the salesperson and the prospect. You take a marketing approach and you start, first of all, with something very global, informative, not very specific about the solution, just really trying to lead them into the next step of the funnel, but catering to where they are in the journey. It can be an article on why on hold can help have more phone conversation or can help their clients stay on the phone. And then when it's about the consideration phase, you can start talking about more specifics, what type of delivery you would want, how you want to do it. And so those first two stages are heavily marketing. And even in the third stage, the decision stage, which would be typically where your salesperson would have the most value to have a conversation with them, you still want to shorten this cycle as much as possible, because your salesperson, you want them to focus on the bigger ticket item, what will bring more revenue to your company, such as the VoIP system itself, such as maybe an install in their office. And you want to shorten really this sales cycle. And this is where your marketing can continue to help you with even more targeted content, specific to that client, such as, for instance, email campaign on a specific problematic or on a specific platform and this sort of thing. So this is why we are talking so much about marketing versus sales. And quite frankly, for another reason is that not everyone has a marketing team or even a dedicated marketing manager. And we want to give you the possibility to really have the benefit of this marketing, but without spending too much time on it. So keep it simple and stupid. This is where we're trying to bring our effort. So first of all, for marketing, and according to this stage, you're going to want to know where your customer is in the journey, what phase they're on. This will enable you to know which content is appropriate to them, which channel of communication as well, and what information they might require at this stage. So you can really target with the right information at the right time to bring them along to the next stage of the funnel. Then you will want to use, simply, you have a lot of free tools at your disposal. We can advise you on those with our best practice. We can have individual calls if you should wish, in terms of CRM, mailing system, social media scheduling, and all this. What is the most important part is not so much the tools that you're using, because much like the delivery method that we were talking in the beginning, this is mostly a feature approach. What we want to really enable you to do is to have a very simple process that you can repeat and that is scalable, but again, that doesn't take away too much time from all the other products that you're selling. PromptVoice being an add-on to a VoIP system, typically you want to market your VoIP system, you want to market all the other solutions that you are having, and so it needs to be very targeted and very efficient in terms of time. This is why we have listed here, for instance, the example of the LinkedIn coffee cup routine, where in the morning, to manage your social media, you connect, and it is supposed to take the time of your coffee, the time that your coffee takes to heat up in the cup, or that your machine takes to serve your coffee, where you simply look at the conversation going online, look at the hashtags that you're following, look at who has tagged your company or yourself, where the conversation is going. If you want to be part of this conversation, then where you want to orientate it, and which you can repeat, and thereby gain a following if you repeat it consistently and by providing quality content and information. And the main step into simplifying this for you was to simplify the creative process and simplify all parts of the sales cycle all the way to the sales conversation, which is why we've put in place the marketing toolkits. And I am now going to leave Daisy to present it to you.
Thank you, Pierre. So, hi everyone, I take care of marketing at PromptVoice, and I'm going to talk to you about the resources we have available for our partners and how you can use these to create the perfect portal launch, how you can encourage your users to use PromptVoice portal using these resources, and how we're working on simplifying the customer upgrade process. So please feel free to submit questions throughout using the questions box, and we'll dedicate some time at the end of the webinar to respond to these. So first of all, how do you create the perfect launch of PromptVoice portal, and what response should you expect to see? So we have a whole wealth of resources to assist you with this, and I'm going to talk you through how I would approach launching your portal. So before your designated launch date, I'd have the simple touch points covered and some background collateral. To do this, I'd suggest starting with launching a product-specific web page using the template we've provided in the toolkit. Now, you simply need to lift the content that's relevant to your portal and add in your own solution and service wrap details. I'd pair this with the email launch sequence and the social media series, scheduled with corresponding dates, so that the recipients of the email sequence are shown the same message when they scroll through their social media channels at different points through the day. It's also really important to make sure social media posts have an image attached, whether this be a stock image, which we do provide, a designed image, a product image, or even just a picture of your offices or your team, it's really important to help the post gain better traction. So I'd like to point out, just before I move on to some other activities that can help with your launch, before your portal is launched, we can upload all your contact data into your portal for you, so that when you send those email templates, they're really simple to personalize with all the info your users are going to need to get started on their portal. When they receive the email, they would simply click a link included in the email and enter their unique credentials, which would be supplied, pulled through from the data we've uploaded in an automated process, and then they would gain instant access to the portal, meaning that the work is cut for you. So these online activities help to initiate conversations with both new prospects and existing customers. And these conversations can be supported using either the data sheet or the product overview that we've put in the marketing toolkit. But you might want some supporting collateral that you can distribute. Now, in this instance, I would suggest a two-sided PDF would be the perfect piece of collateral, or perhaps an A5 flyer, again, two-sided. Now, you always want to go for two-sided in terms of printed collateral, because you're going to pay for it whether you print on the second side or not. And the double-sided PDF is a great one for distributing in any kind of means. If you want to email it out, if you want to host it as a document on your website, and it's easily adaptable without much more additional time if you wanted to get it printed, either for some exhibitions or to do some direct mail campaigns. So I would also say that when you're planning your launch, you should think about the times and days that your contacts are most likely to engage with you. A general marketing rule is to send marketing specific emails between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Tuesday to Thursday, and to post on social media profiles between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. So on social media, you get a larger window, but obviously the engagement period is much smaller. You know, you've got a few seconds of somebody seeing your post, reading your post, and then deciding whether to react or not. You have a shorter window with emails, but they do tend to get a longer engagement period. So I would also put a caveat on this, that it initially will take some time to reach attainment in terms of open rates, click rates, and responses, but that's completely normal, especially if you haven't previously spent much time on email marketing, or you haven't had the resources to do so. Some useful benchmarks that might be helpful to keep in mind are that in the telecoms industry, what we should be aiming for are between 15 to 25% open rates and roughly a 2.5% click rate. As I say, these can take time to achieve, and I would suggest that a reasonable time period for achieving those statistics would be 4 to 5 months since the beginning of your email campaign. So now you've launched your campaign and your product, the next phase would be encouraging users to utilize every feature to help prove the value and introduce some upsells. So the objective of this phase is to emphasize the value of the whole proposition, and there's various email templates that can help with this. We're trying to encourage users to make the most of all the functionality and to introduce parts of the portal that the users may not already be familiar with, therefore presenting the idea that it can do so much more than they're already aware of. So for example, if you've chosen the streaming option, why not introduce the capability to schedule messages ahead of time? This might solve your end user's biggest worry around an event they have on the horizon, where the details can't be released before, but they need to be released on the morning on their phone system. But they're going to have 1,000,001 other things to be dealing with on the day that product launches. Reassure them with the message scheduling. You could also use this to entice people to upgrade to a premium subscription. For example, if message scheduling is not included on the package that they're already using, why not mention for X amount extra, for just this small extra cost, you can get this option. So we've got a range of blog templates available that can help with this continuous upsell. One of those is how to write IVRs, another is how to choose music and voices, and the third main one is how to use on-hold marketing effectively. Now, these are all topics that are going to be relevant to your users. This is really great for hitting your open rates, It's great for keeping your customers engaged. And not only are blog articles great for topical conversation, they're also great for your website search engine optimization and will help you rank more highly on Google. As search engines crawl your website content and analyze you as an authority on telecoms by the amount of keywords you've mentioned, you'll become an authority, according to Google, on telecoms and on-hold audio, helping your Google pages rank more highly when somebody performs a search with the matching keywords. So the third phase that I would suggest would be your upgrade campaign. So we already have a couple of resources available for you to kick off your upgrade plans. And Prompt Voice Portal is designed with the upgrading of users in mind. So we expect that your end users will start on the introductory packages, the page go options, and work through the different levels as their business evolves. So for your upgrade campaign, I would suggest continuing the comms designed to expand product awareness, such as the seasonal refresh reminder, text-to-speech reminder, the videos that demonstrate all capabilities, as these will keep your portal's full capabilities in mind. We also have an upgrade email template ready for you to use in the toolkit. So we know that this process needs to be as easy as possible for you and your customers to manage, which is why we're currently investing significant time improving this. In future version updates, upgrading will become a customer-led process, whereby the users can upgrade themselves so that everyone is set up with the free service, and the portal will upsell itself as customers use the different features. For example, if someone goes to hover over their compilation ready to download, the option of message scheduling will show. And as I explained earlier, if this is not part of their package, it would say you can get this by upgrading and then take them to an upgrade page. So we would work with you to create this upgrade page, and it would be completely white labeled for you to have your own branding so that you are in complete ownership of it, like the rest of the portal. We would also work with you to support marketing campaigns around this, especially for key promotions like Christmas or any other internal offers that you have running. So I'd also like to mention that if this sounds quite daunting to you, there will be the functionality to turn this on or off, depending whether you want to make use of this and influence the parameters around to what extent the customers can leave this themselves. So I've split this upgrade campaign into two sections really, because I also want to talk about a new tool that we've got, especially designed for helping you deal with the sales process and moving your customers through those packages. We know that quite often you can face challenges around why would we upgrade, why would we pay for this service when we can get basic on-hold music for free from our VoIP system? Well, there's a range of answers, to be honest, and we've created some documents to help you handle these kind of objections. But just before I go through those, Pierre is just going to run through what the typical sales process might look like, just to give you a better picture of how those documents will fit in your process. So if you'd like to just take over for a second, Pierre.
Yes, of course. Well, after the marketing efforts, such as all that you have posted online, passive resource, which continue working for you even after you've done it, and your targeted marketing, hopefully the sales process is as short as possible. Ideally, the client asks their account manager to just be put on the portal, and the conversation will be that simple sometimes. Other times, there will still be some barriers to engage, and even if the conversation starts there and the prospect is not ready to go on it, at least you will have been presented as the expert, knowing what you are talking about and giving valuable advice to go on the portal and hopefully simplifying the sales process. The ideal sales process would be no sales process.
Thank you, Pierre. So we've created two objection handling packs. We know there's a whole plethora of questions that face the sales teams of both resellers and service providers. And we really want to help you allay these and make the sales process run as smoothly as possible. As Pierre mentioned, the idea is that there is no sales process and that Prompt Voice Portal sells itself for you. So we've created these objection handling packs in two formats. The first is highly confidential and for your reference only, as it contains extensive competitor analysis. And the second version is the end user enablement pack. This can be sent to your customers if you so wish. Both of these documents are available on request from our team, and they're both available with prompt voice formatting or as white label documents, and make them entirely your own. So not only do they contain the most common answers to objections, they also contain really important answers to FAQs, usability in the portal that could be also helpful for yourself, and comparisons to other similar products that our partners have reported to encounter. Those are now available from your account manager or from the email address that will show on the next screen. So please do get in touch if you would find those helpful, and we will get them to you. So before we close the webinar, I'd like to open up the last few minutes for discussion around your own experiences launching the portals, which resources you may or may not have found helpful, any questions or feedback that you might have about anything we've discussed throughout the webinar, or if there's anything further we could help you with as part of the toolkit. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, drop them into the panel whenever you're ready. Okay, so I've got one question here, which is how frequently are resources updated to reflect new feature releases or changes in functionality? So we have recently performed a large overhaul of all of the documents in the marketing toolkit. We have restructured the layout so that it's much easier for you to find things. And we've also done a content audit on everything to make sure it's up to date. There will also be quarterly updates to all of the content, and also that includes those objection handling documents. We've got a lot of comparison to other products, as I mentioned, so we want to make sure that's always relevant, and new documents are continuously being added. There's no set interval because we like to keep that very frequent. So yeah. This is an important question. Somebody would like to know how quickly we can help put the customers on the portal. Pierre, you might be better placed to answer that than me.
Well, it really depends how quickly you want them on the portal, but we have a bulk upload possibility. It's quite simple. We just need Excel with some very basic information, such as company names, the user identifier, and their email address, so that we can create the account and they can have the password. Usually it's very fast. It's a matter of a couple of days at the most, in the larger case where we need to check that the data is correct. But yes, on your end, it's very simple. It's just a list to send to us.
Perfect, thank you, Pierre. Okay, so if there are any questions that you would rather put to us individually or that you think of after the call, please feel free to give us a call on the number on the screen or to drop them to the partners@promptvoice.com email address, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you found this session today useful, and I look forward to seeing you at our next partner webinar. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.